then for those who are quiet quitters now, what should they do? Because I think quiet quitting, if you're an individual in that situation, it's usually a temporary thing. You can only do it for so long before you're tired of it. I mean, is that true? Brian, I know you said you've done that. So is that true? Like you get tired of being in this situation?
If you don't leave that situation, you're just going to go further into burnout. I mean, there are already there's already articles coming out talking about how quiet quitting is actually not working and people are just quitting. If you continue on quiet quitting, and like I said, I did it for pretty much 20 years, the level of burnout that I was in by the time I left, I mean, it was very high. I I was just talking about how you needed to be in the office and face to face to be able to train people. And if my former boss ever sees this, he's going to laugh at me because I refused to go back to work when they were wanting us to go back into the office. I mean, I wanted full time remote. I was to the point where I didn't want that interaction, but that was the level of burnout that I was in. So if you're quiet quitting, you're just leading yourself down to more stress because whatever the cause of your quiet quitting, you're still in that cause. So mine was boredom, but then other stresses would come in with, deadlines and coworkers and whatever. It just adds on to your stress and adds on to your stress and adds on to your stress, and your level of burnout goes up to a point where you just do what we did and sold everything and left. I don't recommend that, but
On the other hand, just, on the positive note, so we have just this great opportunity now. So Brian and I, we're traveling around. We have a great big motorhome that we're touring the U.S. in, and the our background is our morning view this morning as I was out walking our dogs, the backside of our campground, just the beauty. So we decided we were done quiet quitting. We just quit and we're doing something entirely new. Eventually, most quiet quitters are going to get to that point where they're going to move on to something else. So, there's a plus side to this. I think the question is, for managers, can you afford to lose half your workforce because they're quiet quitting and they're probably moving on eventually? And then, again, going back to the quiet quitters, how are they going to get out of this?
well, then my question is if you're quiet quitting, you need to evaluate whether the job that you're in is really what you should be doing anyway. Are you quiet quitting because you don't feel like this is the job that you want to be in? Then why aren't you finding what you want to be in? If you are quiet quitting because you felt like you got betrayed and you just want to sulk and linger on it, then you have to ask, why am I doing this? This is no benefit to your employer or yourself. You're just doing more damage. So if you're quiet quitting, you got to be like, what is the real reason why I'm doing this? Let's evaluate this. Let's do a deep dive, figure out where this quiet quitting desire is coming from, and whether I can make a change and get out of it for the good, or whether just changing jobs is going to just put me right back into a quiet quitting situation. What do I need to do to make it so I don't want to quiet quit? Because it's not an enjoyable environment where you're just barely doing what you need to do to keep your job. It's not. It's not.
Just don't do it.
So
And two, you just got to